Hey guys, it's Joe, Danny, and Greg here from Ritual Gaming, and we are going to be doing episode 3 of our podcast. Today we're going to be talking a bit more general stuff that we've been enjoying recently in the game, and still doing some news things too. So first of all, we're going to start off with Magma Trooper, the March daily login reward character. Joe, what do you think of Magma Trooper?
I'm 50-50 on him. I like that his primary attack gets the chance to attack again. I like guys who can attack a lot because it's generally irritating, and if he can output some decent damage, that would be, that could potentially be really powerful. That second attack does deal less damage than the initial attack, but if you're putting out enough damage, that'll be really powerful. But from what we hear, people who understand statistics better than us three have pointed out that when you add up all the multipliers and the stacking and the stats, he's not actually going to be putting out that much damage.
Yeah, I think we'll see how that comes. It seems like when characters first get released, there's the initial kind of stats reaction and stuff, and then people see how they fit into compositions and with different leaders, and maybe they can do a bit more damage than they seem to be able to do. But
yeah, he's Empire, right? He's not First Order, so if you can build an Empire team that utilize, that buffs him, maybe with a Darth Vader lead comes to mind, you might be able to get more value out of him. But I certainly think all his abilities look really cool. Like, no one doesn't like a great big turn meter manipulation AoE effect.
Yeah, that's true, actually. I really like the turn meter manipulation that he can do. Like, taking away 30% turn meter is pretty huge. And then the chance of taking 30% more, so like 60%, it's huge.
At the same time as giving himself 60% if he resists or suffers a negative status effect. So regardless, if their team are putting out negative debuffs, he gets boosted every time he debuffs.
Yeah.
So
I really hope this type of character kind of ushers in like a control kind of team that people could throw together. As soon as I saw him, and I mean, it seems like he might not do too much damage, but if he does, that would be amazing. But if he doesn't, then I think it'd be really cool if people started using him in kind of a term manipulation kind of team. Like, I've seen people throw that around online, but it doesn't really seem to have ever worked.
There's so many characters that manipulate turn meters, but only a couple of them ever see regular use, and it's the guys like Poe, like Poggle, who do it once, and that's all you really need them for.
Yeah, it's
so like Poe pops his thing, and he's exposing at the same time, so that's really great. And then Poggle is just speeding all of your droids up if you're running a droid team, and apart from that, you don't see too much turn meter manipulation, I would say.
Yeah.
Apart from the passive stuff like Dooku, who will do it to himself by attacking.
I feel like if you mix this guy in with some guys that could stun a bit more often, like even, and we'll talk about this later, but Royal Guard, this maybe a little too tanky of a team. You might lack on some damage right now in the current meta, but it could be interesting, trying to mix who's getting stunned, trying to manipulate turn meter, trying to just not let the other guy do what he wants to do, or I guess not let the computer do what they want to do.
Yeah, he's Empire too, Royal Guard, so you could there could be a window for a sort of Empire control team featuring, the big man Darth Vader, Royal Guard, Magma Trooper, maybe some other stuff out of faction to supplement it, or just if you lucked into a Grand Moff Tarkin or whatever, he seems pretty cool.
I wish that guy was better than he seems to be.
Yeah.
I always thought he was a cool character. Danny and I have talked about this before, that you thought Grand Moff Tarkin was a bit of a wuss character, but I think he's cool.
Yeah, never really liked him. But no, I mean, I think Magma Trooper, going back to him, he is quite versatile in the fact that he's got quite different abilities. Like, for example, his he changes negative status effects, or he uses those to his benefit. And they've been adding characters like that, like Yoda, where he's like turning negative status effects to his benefit, or he's like buffing up people with his positive status effects. So I think that could eventually see some play with a lot more characters coming out like that. I don't know.
Yeah.
And
Yeah,
if
I
they ever
totally agree.
introduce any new fancy debuffs that we've not seen before, you know.
Mhm.
That would be really cool, actually. I would be really stoked for just some new debuffs and status effects.
Mhm. Just
Okay,
new
so
new moving parts to think about would just open up so many more alleyways for interesting builds.
Yeah.
yeah. All right, so Magma Trooper seems like hit or miss, I'd say. We'll see how it goes. It's
Yeah, we'll see how it
early
goes.
days, yeah. Although we were talking about this before that it seems like he's a 10 shard character, right? To open up?
Yeah.
I think so, right? A lot of the 10
Yep.
shard characters don't seem to be super amazing, except for a few, right? Like
Well,
Genosian
they're like
Soldier.
yeah, the 10 shard characters tend to be the like generic no-name people. They're just like random grunt.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, uh, but then yeah, like with Genosian soldiers is just a complete monster, you know. So
Yeah, it could turn out either way. Okay, so what about General Grievous? He was just recently released, right? We were talking about him a little bit in the last video. I've seen a few people, a few super whales, megalithic whales
Yeah,
with 7-star General Grievuses, which is pretty insane. And I see people running him lead. I honestly didn't expect people to run him lead. What do you think of people running him lead, Danny?
I don't understand the lead thing. I mean, okay, General Grievous as a toon, as a character himself, I want him. I think he is one of the coolest characters that's come out recently. I really like him, and I really want him. But running him as lead, that's his weak point to me, his lead. But you were telling me that, I don't know, people have like kind of discussed it and thought it's really good.
I don't know if it's really good, but maybe it's better than because I guess if you're
Why are
running,
people then? This is what I'm wondering.
yeah, right. Well, I guess
well,
in
I
the
mean,
yeah, go ahead, Joe.
one reason is to show everyone you've got him. You know,
Sure, fear factor.
people definitely want to, you know, show off the goods.
The trophy wife. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Like I definitely reckon that you know those guys out there who the super whales or the really determined people, you know, they just get to show off their what their money got them, I guess. It's
Maybe
like,
too. I've been seeing a bit since it's like a bit flavor of the week. They're trying to test
it's
it
like
out.
why
if
do you
it's
paint
worth
your
it.
Lamborghini a stupid color, you know?
Yeah, okay, I get it.
Yeah.
But no, I think there might be some credence to his actual lead. I mean,
Yeah,
if you do get him all up and you're getting minus 17.5 critical chance and minus 20% critical damage, that really could negate certain teams.
a lot of meta teams too. It
A
seems.
lot of meta teams, yeah,
Right.
these speed teams that like, if they get a couple of crits off and come out of the gates roaring, couple of crits and your team is just decimated before you get to take a turn.
Yeah,
It's true. Poggle and
Bit of this-
Sid teams kind of get countered by that.
Yeah, you know, I can see it, but yeah, should the meta ever shy away from, well, critical damage is always going to be important, but I mean, just leads who only generally influence critical damage.
yeah. Try and kill it. Like, if it turns away from squads that are trying to get 1 or 2 kills in the first round, then maybe he wouldn't be as good lead. But if
Yeah.
I feel like if he can prevent that from actually happening, like say for example a Qui-Gon Sid combo coming in and just blowing up someone, or Qui-Gon Sid Yoda, or Qui-Gon Rey, or whatever is going to kick your ass in the first round, if he can get your characters past that first round, then that's pretty good, right?
I definitely have no bitterness against teams with Qui-Gon and a bunch of really fast attackers who get outrageous crits.
No, I love to watch my guys just get destroyed by swirling crap.
Even press a single button, apart from start fight.
Yeah, I mean, if it really comes out and his leader ability is good and dependable and people really do want to use it a lot, then that's amazing because his other stuff is really cool too, right? Like his whole kit is pretty interesting.
Yeah, if he could be an all-around character, then I'd get even more of a boner for him.
What's really annoying though then is that I think we were mentioning this previously is if he's gonna be this good, man, why does he have to be so unattainable?
Well, I mean, the answer seems fairly obvious.
Yeah, you kind of
But
put it in the question there.
Yeah.
yeah. But we'll see. I really do think in terms of the leader skill, it really is. It's like today on my server, I noticed a couple of guys running Magma Guard leads, and and they were like 2-star useless Magma Guard leads. It's just going, hey, look what I got.
Oh, I think
someone must-
that I don't think they actually have it yet. I
Oh,
I saw that too. Like when you're going into the different levels, you mean? To the PvE stuff?
when I can just choose an
Yeah.
an app.
No, I think that's a bug or something.
It might be a bug because there was definitely that time that you guys all saw me with a character that I didn't have. I
Yeah.
remember I got a screenshot from the group like, "Did you have Rex?" I was like, "No, I don't have Rex." It's like, "Well, your friend lead is currently Rex."
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, no, I don't think people have him so high. Okay, well, Grievous seems pretty badass. I'm pretty impressed by how he's going. What about Royal Guard? Royal Guard got a little buff, got a little cooler. I think Royal Guard's the bomb. I've been experimenting with Royal Guard a bit. We've had a little bit of time with the new changes. Danny, have you been using it?
Oh yeah, especially in Galactic War, and I'm really wanting to buff him up because I want to use him in Arena. I think, like you said, he's just a cool character. He's super reliable. He's an automatic taunt, which is just exactly what you want without using a skill, like without using a little button, you know. And he stuns like pretty regularly,
Yeah, I was impressed with that.
which is amazing. And I really want to build a stun team, so just having that, oh, I'm very stoked on him. And I've actually seen him in a couple comps in top tier Arena, which is odd, but it's not that odd because I want to do it too. So
Yeah, I love him.
It's
Like I sent you guys all a little screenshot the other day. I had a couple of arena battles left after the changeover, and I just threw him in pretty well geared up, but just at 3 stars on my team, and he did work. And I, for a little while, I was holding 3rd place on the server with a 3-star Royal Guard in my team. So, not so great on the defense, but it was, if you any other kind of 3-star character, if you threw them in at that level of play, would just get obliterated immediately and do nothing. But he hung around and got his taunt off, ate a couple of hits and won me the match. So I can't wait till he's, The only downside is it's a slow grind, 2 hard modes.
Yeah, I mean it's really slow unless you're wailing it up and you get a lot of shards.
said there, Greg, he's 4th highest health as well, so that's probably why at 3 stars he can outlast a lot of the other.
He ate two hits. He wasn't even at level 70 either. He was at like level 60 because I didn't have enough money to take him all the way to level 70. And I mean, not that affects his health too much, but just
He does his job well.
he does his job well and without a click, and I think that's where his real strength is. The stun's nice, little icing on the cake, but God, that taunt, that clickless taunt, that turnless taunt is just beautiful.
Yeah, I really think that that's a cool addition to the game where if we're going to keep this same PvP where we have players versus AI, then kind of clickless abilities like that seems like they would actually have a really good place in the meta and everything like that. Like, you said he might not have done so well in defense, Joe, but I would feel more comfortable leaving him on defense than... Actually, I don't know. What do you guys think would be better on defense if you just had a real glass cannon team, and you had the choice between running him or Poe on defense?
Him.
I mean him if he was at the same level. I mean, I guess this really boils down to why Royal Guard's so exciting right now, is that there's just not very much good taunt in the game. I mean, you've got Stormtrooper Han, who's just the most weirdly imbalanced character around. He's like a squishy taunt, which just seems pointless.
Squishy 2-turn taunt.
Squishy 2-turn taunt. And then you've got Chewie, who's just kind of a little too slow and...
He's a very so-so okay taunt.
Yeah, he is like a classic, this is what a taunt is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, he taunts himself and then gives himself a little bit of health back, and then you've really got, if we're talking other taunts, you've got Poe and Royal Guard, and for a while it was just the Poe show, and it'll be exciting to see Royal Guard worked in some new builds, in replacing that, and also not just replacing Poe, but developing like playstyle beyond the whole roll the dice, see whose Poe goes off,
Yeah, I hope that there's a place for him a bit too, where he's not just protecting glass cannons. Like, I think that's obviously where you would first employ him, right? Like, he's definitely where he's gonna easily slot into. I have a secondary account that I kind of mess around with sometimes, and I'm slowly trying to make a weird tanky composition that I'm sure would be terrible on defense, where I'm running Chewbacca, Stormtrooper Han, and Royal Guard, and then some really
Healers?
squishy, and then heal. And I don't really quite know what I'm gonna do with it, but I was just thinking it'd be fun when you're on offense to be switching between all the different taunts, and instead of automatically taunting with your taunts, you let Royal Guard taunt and then let him get low and then taunt with another dude and kind of switch control what the AI has to focus. But I think I would really need Barasafi to avoid all the Sid healing immunities that probably all those taunts would take.
Yeah.
So, all right, guys, we're trying this new thing where we were trying to think about what we would like to see added to the game, because Royal Guard's ability kind of inspired us, thinking like, this is a cool new ability. What are some other stuff that we really want to see added to the game? So we went away over the week and thought about a character each in the Star Wars universe that we would like to see added to the game, and kind of came up with some basic abilities for them, some specials, uniques, leader ability, all that jazz. So, Danny, let's start with yours, because I like yours.
All right, so
I don't like yours, Joe. That's why I started. No, I don't know.
I don't like mine.
So my character is Jango Fett, and obviously he'd be a scoundrel. So his regular attack would just be a simple attack. I haven't really written too much information about that because I'm not really focused on that. What I'm focused on is his 2 special attacks and his unique. He would have no leader ability. So his first special would be an AoE damage, and it has a chance to give all allies a random negative status effect, and that would be any effect in the game that already exists. And his second ability would be just a click ability, a high chance to apply buffs, maybe up to 3 buffs or something. Any buff from the game to all allies. So he's kind of just like a very RNG support kind of character.
I like this idea.
Yeah.
Yeah, no one would ever use him because of the RNG, but I love the idea. Yeah.
He would be just loathed completely.
Just skill versus RNG is like kind of the reason why I play these types of games, Anyways, and his last thing, unique ability, would be like a chance to gain stealth at the end of his turn. And this goes up in percentage by each scoundrel ally. So it's just kind of 3 very cool abilities that I think would be fun to add to the game, and it would just make things a little bit more interesting.
I think,
Yeah, it's cool.
I mean, some people get really annoyed with RNG and stuff like that, and different stun bases and how it affects the game, or any game really. But I think with a game like this, where even PvP you're playing against the computer, RNG can make it a bit more interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah. Stun chances and stuff like that.
Well, yeah, because then it's not just like Joe has mentioned a few times. It's not just a spreadsheet of like who's got more power. It's just there's always that chance of like, no, didn't cut it this time. So
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, he got me some useless buff. He gave me a taunt that I really didn't want.
Yeah.
You have IG-88 the taunt.
Taunts
Yeah.
your IG. Okay, so what was your character, Joe?
So I kind of came at it from kind of following directly on from the conversation we just had. I really liked Royal Guard, and I've kind of been inspired by his dynamic taunting shenanigans. And so I was thinking what could be real fun, because I've also been replaying Final Fantasy VII on my PlayStation 4 lately. And what I thought could be really fun is to employ a kind of cover style mechanic. So for those who haven't played Final Fantasy, you have a certain ability you can apply to any guy on your team, where he has a percentage or she has a percentage chance of just jumping in the way of an attack that is directed at another member of your team. So again, a bit like Danny, I'm like, primary attack, whatever. He shoots his gun at someone. So I was thinking that what kind of Star Wars universe character would this most fit? And ironically, probably the best one is already in the game, would be Stormtrooper Han, who during that sequence of the film is just kind of covering everyone's butts while they save Princess Leia, and spoiler alert. And so I thought maybe if they just release regular scoundrel Han, he could do this kind of thing where he's just that guy getting in front of everyone and saying, you make a run for it, while he shoots his cool little laser pistol down an alleyway at someone. So the idea being that his regular attack and his special attack, you could add in some turn meter manipulation or a little bit of fun there just to spice it up. But really, his unique feature would be this cover thing where, without actually taunting or activating an ability, kind of like with Royal Guard, he jumps in the way of someone else while they're being attacked and just takes the hit for them.
I think that would be sweet. Just like every once in a while, your 8K crit gets eaten by Han, and you're just no.
Yeah, it might even kill him, but you could even attach a buff. Like if he dies as sacrificing himself, like everyone gets a buff.
Like an old Ben kind of thing.
Like an inspiration thing. Like he died protecting the team, so now everyone's like avenging his death. That could be really fun.
That sounds dope. I like that idea. My idea was I kind of wanted to make a character, because whenever I play a game, I always want to play the support characters. And I wanted to make a character that was just truly support and didn't actually attack. So I was trying to think of someone that might not do that. And I like really scummy characters that force other characters to hurt themselves for advantages and stuff like that. So I was thinking Jabba the Hutt. And so Jabba the Hutt, I wanted his leader skill, I called it Pay the Price. And I wanted his leader skill to give negative health to everyone on their team, like on your team, takes a percentage of their health and gives it back to them in, say, crit or some extra damage in some way. And then all that negative health is given to Jabba. So whatever guy you're running, it takes away their health and gives it to Jabba, which he's a support character, right? So it doesn't actually really, it won't do very much for him. So he's kind of tanky, but it doesn't really matter as much. And then his basic attack would be called Duress, and then it calls another random character on your team to attack, and it takes away 30% of their health, but it guarantees a crit. So he's kind of killing your own team.
He's just throwing your guys at them.
Yeah.
I like it. Yeah.
Kind of
cool
making
idea.
you crit at the same time. And then his second skill would be to expose someone on the other team, but like a direct expose, and it would always hit. And then added on to that, if anyone on your team had died, he has like a 1%, or sorry, not a 1% chance. He has like some sort of percent chance to bring back a scoundrel, so in place of the person that had died. So it could be anyone at all, and the scoundrel has 1% health. So kind of like Daka's ability where she can revive, but it's not your character that died. It's just some random scoundrel that shows up to fight for him.
RNG.
Yeah, exactly. And then I was thinking one thing that I'd really like to see introduced to the game is abilities that only trigger after a certain amount of turns. And so, as I stated before, he would have a lot of health because he's taken his health from your other members of the team. And he would have some sort of ability where if he hadn't died within a certain amount of turns, like it would have to be pretty big, I don't know, like 5 turns or something like that, then he would do, I don't know, 10k damage to a random member on the team. kind of forcing you to be in the situation where you're like, okay, Jabba's going to be killing his own guys, but then at the same time, I got to kill Jabba before he just one-shots one of my guys or something like that.
The animation could be like that little sandworm just comes up and like
Oh,
gnaws on the guy's head
that'd
or
be
something.
perfect. That'd be amazing. Or the hole appears and they just like sink into
They
it.
fall through it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Bit like Daka, where she doesn't actually attack them directly. She just kind of
Summons
magic,
him.
Yeah,
little
just like-
little tickly finger.
Yeah, I think with the Royal Guard thing, where the clickless ability, I think that really made me kind of think of the abilities that I like in the game, and how most of the abilities that I really like in the game are stuff that you have to adapt around. And if you add more abilities like that in the game, a bit more RNG, being like, okay, this guy's gotten taken out, or this guy has a debuff on him, so I have to use him in a particular manner, then it might make the PvP where it's human versus AI a bit more interesting, because it'd be like puzzle-esque.
Yeah, and I think choosing your subs with a Jabba for a Jabba team would be really interesting, because you'd obviously have to look at their health pool, and he's getting a percentage of that, so you'd want to choose high health subs, and high health subs don't always tend to have the best attacks, and it'll really it'd be how do you balance that out?
Exactly.
Your glass cannons become even glassier if you choose to include them.
You probably would choose Talia.
It'd be like the least, it'd be the worst defense team ever.
Suicide Squad.
I think stuff like that too, where you're hurting yourself to try and gain advantages, would be a bit fun. I mean, it could be kind of OP if the AI didn't really attack things in the right thing, like maybe against the AI, if they wouldn't know to kill Jabba after the 5 turns, so you might just get an instant kill after 5 turns, so then you could start making teams that only have taunts, and then Jabba, and then survive for 25 turns, kill them or something like that. I don't know. These weird stuff could evolve, but I'm saying abilities like that would be cool.
I like that idea.
I want all of those characters. Yeah.
The reason I kind of brought this whole subject up, and we kind of wanted to do a topic, guys, about why we like playing the game, and what abilities are fun in the game, and what's fun in Arena and in Galactic War, because we're more PvP focused a lot of the time, obviously. And I always play this guy for rank 1 from the past week. He's called Gems2374, so if it's you, then I always play you for rank 1. And
Cool guy, Gems.
Cool guy.
You're a cool
We
guy.
like-
And he runs a really cool composition that I don't see a lot of people running, where he runs Dooku, Sid, Barriss, Lumi, and Daka. And I actually really like playing against it, because the composition itself, it plays with the AI, where you're kind of put into the situation a lot of the time where you're solving a puzzle, because Daka can stun someone. If you let Barriss get her ability off, then you're screwed. If Lumi happens to get a heal off, you're screwed. You got to be careful of Dooku's stun too, the healing immunity, and you're just playing around all these little things. And I think if they add more stuff like that into the game, it would be fun.
Yeah, anything that isn't just. I mean, we love playing PvP and all of that, but as we've said many times before, and anyone who's playing at a highish level will be aware, it really is all just speed and power right now.
Yeah.
And anything that can just give a break from that would just be, winning is fun until winning becomes not fun, and then there's no point even playing. Just varying the tactics, giving, like you say, approaching a game not as in, did I win the dice roll, and did, some unfortunate bit of luck just cost me the game, as opposed to I played that all wrong, and I lost that for myself. Or on the flip side, I won that for myself. I totally owned those tactics right there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's why I enjoy playing
yeah,
that composition
exactly.
too, is because
So much more rewarding.
Yeah, exactly. When you do beat it, and you just beat it, you've got maybe 1.5 characters left, and you've killed his off. It feels so good, instead of just clean sweeping him, killing 2 of his characters in the first round, killing 2 of his characters in the second round, and then just cleaning up. I think too, a lot of people have been talking about this online, where most compositions that are popular right now are good are terrible on defense. So it results in this kind of who can spend more crystals around 6 o'clock or whenever your flip over is for arena points, and not really who's better at the game or who can come up with an interesting composition or different strategy.
Just who logs in at the right time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Who logs in at the right time and put a Qui-Gon up front and got their attacks off quick.
Yeah. Summon the right guy with his assist.
Yeah. Oh, I did. I won. I didn't. I lost. Like, that's what I mean. Like, it sounds. I wish I was on your server, because the number one on my server, who I showed you guys, is just it's a game. It's a roulette wheel that plays before you even get to put any input in. So, you know, for those who haven't seen it, the number one on my server is a guy running a Qui-Gon lead with Dooku, First Order TIE Pilot, Genosian Soldier, and Rey. And so what that essentially means is Qui-Gon goes first, because he's the fastest guy around, and he speeds himself up. And that's the only reason he's the lead. He's providing zero synergy with any of the other characters in there, which doesn't seem like it should be something that should be rewarded. But that might just be me being bitter.
No, I fully agree.
You know, but you're being rewarded for having no synergy other than he gets to go first. And then if he calls anyone, Dooku goes first, because Dooku is the fastest. So then he may or may not stun someone. If he stuns someone, you're in trouble. If he doesn't, all right, game on. And then Qui-Gon goes. And so Qui-Gon has the chance of calling either First Order TIE Pilot, who hits like a truck, Genosian, who hits like a truck, Rey, who hits like a truck, or Dooku, who just hits many times, not quite like a truck.
And could possibly stun.
Yeah.
And who could possibly stun. And so then that resolves, and then Rey goes. And Rey hits like a truck and gives herself foresight, and maybe hits more than once with her flurry of blows kind of thing. And then at this point, I look at, I get a turn.
Yeah.
You know, and it's like, okay, that's fun. And like, in order for me to directly counter that, and that's why I'm loving Royal Guard at the moment, because I see Royal Guard as my direct counter to that, and me being able to snag first a bit more often again, is to essentially go away and farm for 3 months to build an entirely different build that can counter that. You know, there's no silver bullet for that really, apart from, like I said, perhaps Royal Guard or an introduction of some more dynamic taunting into the game.
Yeah.
Or attack diversion, like passive attack diversion is the only way, because otherwise this all resolves. I press start, and then I know before I take a turn if I can win or not.
And of course, then if you ran, I think the way to look at this too is it doesn't really matter what you're running, but if you ran the same comp against the guy that you're playing against, exactly what he has, then it would just come down to who won the coin flips and stuff like that. It doesn't really feel as fun. I mean,
yeah, exactly. Even if I could counter it,
I still like playing it, but
yeah, I know. But whereas, when you're describing your battles for first place, it sounds like the game I want to be playing.
Yeah, it's a bit more intuitive,
yeah, it's just interactive. Things can change.
Interactive.
Every game there's zero intuition in my scenario. It's just press the button and see if you actually have a chance to win.
Yeah.
You know, and that's not fun for anyone apart from the guy in first, and it's probably not even that fun for him or her.
Well, actually, I don't know. Controlling that composition and just sweeping people over and over again, it would be fun for a couple days.
Would have a ton of fun.
Yeah. I'd be rolling around in my crystals, just going,
So fun.
making it rain.
Okay, before we go, then let's talk about the direction you guys are going in Arena right now, because as people who have watched the show before know, we all kind of started on the same droid train together, and I guess now we're kind of getting to the top 10 of Arena every day, and maxed out accounts. We're kind of going in different directions. So Danny, what are you trying to build?
Well, I kind of mentioned it earlier, but for some, like, there are the obvious choices I really want to get, but for some reason I really want to make a stun team. So, like, I want to get my Sid all the way up there, get the Royal Guard. He stuns a lot. He's great. Maybe get a beefy Jawa, and what were you saying? Cad Bane, right, Joe? Yeah.
I do. Cad Bane's got a very good.
Yeah,
very good
he's got a
Dooku
consistent
too. Yeah.
stun. Yeah, I just want to like kind of build this weird stun team. I don't know. I just think that'd be fun, like a really controlling, like you can't get me. Yeah.
I think what would be fun about that too is that with stuns, you're turn manipulating in a sense too, right? If you stun a guy that's going to take his turn next, then it's dope.
Yeah, he goes all the way back to 1.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, it's 100% turn meter reduction. That's what a
Yeah.
stun is.
It's true.
Yeah.
What about you, Joe?
So yeah, I'm still just putting the finishing touches on my A team, but like I just ranted on a bit there, I'm kind of slowly building towards a hard counter to that, just so I can have more than a 1 in 10 chance of getting first every now and again. So I'm focusing on Royal Guard in that regard, but you know, there's only that's six missions a day, and apart from that, I'm a little bit directionless. I feel like my life has no meaning. I've been just farming guys I know to be good, waiting to see where the meta goes. But in my heart of hearts, I really want to just build a nasty turn manipulation team. So whenever I see a character has turn manipulation, you know, my ears prick up and I start looking at it and thinking, how could I manipulate this in a way, maybe using particular unusual leads, so maybe like a scoundrel-based turn manipulation team, or like Danny said, mixing in a bit of stun with turn manipulation to basically like have a team that if it's piloted well, the opponent just doesn't ever really get to have a go. But not in that way that I killed you all before you got to have a go, but in a slightly cleverer way.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Where
and
it's like,
in
you're
no
there.
way this is a reaction from you guys just being beaten down by speed teams, right? And not really getting to have a go yourself.
Yeah, well, it just seems like I want to do that without being a dick.
You want to do it slower. Like
I want to do it slower.
like
Yeah, I
5
want to like
turns.
slowly just pry the toenails off the pair of pliers. What? All your guys are alive, but they can't do anything. Deal with it.
Yeah.
That's
I've
my
definitely
We just want to build dick teams.
Yeah. I'm calling people dicks whilst being an even bigger dick myself.
yeah. I was going towards kind of a, now that I have kind of maxed out droid team, I want to go towards an assist team, fully based around assists, where running Qui-Gon, Geonosian Soldier, IG-86, and who's the other guy I was going to run with it? And then yeah, Phasma. I was thinking about running Phasma lead, but then I think I'd be the shitty guy and then just run Qui-Gon lead, so he had the speed. 'Cause I
Yeah,
think it'd be worth it if I was going to center around assists. And someone was suggesting Phasma lead, but I think with that type of team, you'd want a kill with each assist, so it wouldn't really matter if you got those extra attacks off. But then maybe in the long run it'd be better. I don't know. I just want almost everyone to be able to call an assist partner over and over again, like
That's
a
my
dancing
favorite
team.
ability. So yeah.
Yeah.
Or you know, the alternative is I had a similar idea on my other account where I wanted it to be multi-attackers rather than assists. Well, assists and
Oh, yeah.
multi-attackers. So like the Cad Bane, the Dooku's, and even the new Magma Guard Trooper, who attack, then bonus attack off their own attack. And you know, if you did pair that with like a Phasma lead, if RNGesus shines his holy light upon you, you could just get some really heinous turns going. Where, you know, you call, like the nicest feeling with the Phasma team is when you pop Genosian and 2 guys attack at the same time.
Yeah,
It looks
that's true.
really good.
Yeah, I love it because it's literally the same time. It's not like, oh, you go
Yeah.
first. And it's just like,
They're just like pushing each other out of the way to punch them in the face, you know. And
Actually,
and then
yeah, I really
if
should
those guys could then go
consider
back
Phasma.
and then go again, you know, that would be so fun.
That would be really dope.
But yours
I-
is probably much more sensible and effective.
I don't know, actually. Maybe now that you're saying it that way, maybe that is the way to go. I think too, this just really reflects the current meta, where things seem so black and white in the first couple turns. We're all just thinking, you know, it'd be awesome, just random RNG as to who wins.
Yeah.
Just some more stuns. I want to see.
I've got a couple
half
of
the
those in
team
my
stunned.
pocket actually. You know, we can just play the flip the coin game.
Yeah. All right, so that brings us to the end that we were talking about. We've gone on for a little while. We're kind of trying a different manner in this video where we're doing a little bit of the news and what's happening right now, but just also some general discussion, you know. This is what we do anyways, I think, on a Friday night if we're all at the bar, but we decided to record it, so let us know what you guys think. And this is us here at Ritual Gaming, and we'll see you next time.
Bye.